Hello and welcome to the TES Secondary Maths Resource of the Week with me, Mr. Barton. Now, depending on when you're watching this video, this may well be the final Resource of the Week of the 2016 to 2017 academic year. And it's always tricky deciding what resource to choose to see out the year, but I've gone for this one here. I'll be honest with you, it's a controversial one, but we all love a little bit of controversy. It is the Maths Drills Generator, rounding, halving, doubling, multiplying by powers of 10, which has been kindly created by, I'm going to say Hingy, but I've probably got that pronunciation wrong. Now, maths drills have been receiving a lot of attention both on Twitter and in the press and so on for years really, but certainly over the last few months. And a lot of people think, oh, drills, that means rote learning, that's boring, that's not engaging, we don't need it, blah, 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 blah. However, the reason I've chosen this one is I attended a talk at a maths conference earlier in the year, and the talk was given by Danny Quinn, the head of maths at Michaela, and it was all about drilling, and in fact it was called Drill and Thrill as opposed to Drill and Kill. And I was blown away by it, and I think a load of people in the audience were as well. So I got Danny on my podcast, so a little plug here, if you just go to mrbartonmaths.com podcast. Danny did a whole thing about drilling. She spoke for an hour about it. So if you're interested in this, I would strongly advise you check out that episode. And this resource has actually been created by one of the teachers in Michaela School, and this is one they actually use for their drills. So I thought it'd be really interesting to feature it to see what a drill is all about, because I'll tell you what, I didn't have a flipping clue. I had a lot of misconceptions about it. So the resource consists of a single file. It's an Excel file, and I would strongly advise, and I've linked this in the description below, that you check out this blog, because this blog post has been written by Danny Quinn based on the talk she gave, and it explains this very resource. There it is, and the logic behind it. Okay, so let's take a look at the resource, and I'll move my annoying head out of the way. And you can see here that it's, as I say, a very simple sheet. It's been designed for year 7s, but I'll keep that in mind, in fact, because some of the mathematical calculations here, I think they're flipping quite hard. So you've got, 6 different columns? Let's focus on this one here, the multiplying. Now, I'm not going to go into the full details of the logic behind drills, the rationale behind them. You can read that in the blog post, but we can get a sense of it here, right? So this column is all about multiplying. It's a single skill, and it's all about multiplying by powers of 10. So you get hundreds, tens, thousands. But look at the progression and think of all the different types of questions and misconceptions kids could have. So we get single numbers multiplied by 100, single numbers by 10, single numbers by 1,000. Then decimal points come into play. And look at this, we've got a single decimal point multiplied by 10. Can kids handle that? But then by the time we get to question 11, we've got a single decimal point by 100. Then we've got 2 decimal points by 1,000, 2 decimal points by 100. Can you see here every possible possibility has been covered by this thing? So there's nothing left out to kids. Also, what I also like about the design of this is it's designed in a systematic way that kids can't just spot patterns. So it can't just be the case. It doesn't go 10, 100,000, 10, 100,000, 10, 100,000, and so on. So kids just know to move a decimal place or stick a nought on and so on. They've got to think about each one. And then by the time you get to the end, we've got the powers of 10. Now, if you're thinking that's great, but that's just going to get me through one lesson, well, don't worry about that, because it's on Excel. If you do Shift F9, then you're going to get random numbers generated. And it's the same thing in the second column there. And this time we're doing all the division by the powers of 10. But again, we're covering everything. Numbers that end in 0, and numbers that don't end in 0, numbers with decimal points, and so on. By the time kids have gone through all those, you'll be confident that they've got their head around it. But here's the key thing. It's about consistency. You can't just do these as a one-off and then hope that magically kids have got it. Kids work the way through these one lesson, then let's revisit the drill the next lesson, then let's revisit it. Let's do it 3 times a week or 2 times a week, but keep it regular and consistent. And look at these skills. How important are these skills? Multiplying, dividing by 10, doubling numbers, dividing by 2. How many times have you had kids, even year 11s I'm going to admit to here, who say things like, well, you can't divide 9 by 2, or you certainly can't divide 1.5 by 2. So it's about hammering those skills. Then we've got our rounding to 1 sig fig and rounding to 2 significant figures. As I say, I'm a little bit obsessed with these drills at the moment. I didn't fully understand the complexity about them, the key to how the questions were designed and chosen. I would strongly recommend you check out this blog post. And certainly if you're thinking about designing your own drills, this bit's really interesting. What can be drilled and what can't be drilled and so on. And we have some examples of good drills and bad drills and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully we'll see some more drills appearing on TES, because I think they're fundamental for helping kids develop confidence, fluency, mastery of all those basic skills that are needed to build upon the more complex stuff. So I think they're absolutely wonderful. So there you go, Maths Drills Generator from Michaela School. I hope you find it useful. And if this is the last resource of the week of the academic year and you're watching this before your summer holidays, I hope you have a lovely, restful summer holidays. Thanks for checking out the resource of the week this year. If you're not watching it before your summer holidays, I'm really sorry, especially if this is September or October, but still, I shall be back in the new academic year with another series of Resource of the Week. So take care of yourselves and bye for now.